I just want to thank both our presenters today for fantastic insights and for sticking to the time. I'm really grateful to that. We're going to open the floor up to questions. We've got about 15 minutes or so.
Mike, do you want to use the mic?
Just pass the mic down as you go.
Thanks so much, Adolfo and Nkosuolo. This was really, I echo what Sean says, fantastic panel. I have lots of questions, but let me just zoom in on one that might, that you could have a conversation about, using your concept of the subset of the overlap between Christianity and traditional chieftaincy. I discovered when in Ghana that the majority, I think, of the traditional rulers who were invited to the presidential inauguration, they're Christian or Muslim, right? They are not traditional priests in that sense. And then you showed the picture of the, your king being almost crowned by Christian and Muslim leaders. I mean, can you give a percentage? I mean, do you have a sense of is this a trend? Is this, are there any who would resist that? Or is this actually a positive development in that these people are obviously not demonizing traditional religion? And very quickly, you're both academic. Well, you're an activist, but you've also got your PhD. You're an academic. I mean, to what extent are you consulted on these issues of definition? Right? You're struggling over the concept of traditional and the consequences of that. And you're grappling and arguing for how to define religion. And by the way, I don't know if you've read the book, The Impossibility of Religious Freedom by Winnie Sullivan, in the US context. I mean, we should have more of this in other African contexts. I mean, you're absolutely right, I think. The ambiguity leaves room for abuse. So if you could just very quickly answer that. Any other questions? I mean, can't we run into lunch just a little bit?
Yeah, we can.
I'm willing to sacrifice my appetizer for this.
So we'll go on Curtis.
There was another. He has another question.
And then Professor
Just a simple one for Professor Atiamo. I found what you had to say very persuasive. My question is, have you taken the next step and put words together for what your definition of religion is?
Did I steal your question?
Yes, that was.
You would have said it better.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ahmed Salisu Garba from Nigeria. My question goes to the first speaker. That is on the issue of legal definition of a religion. How do you reconcile, a situation where you think the state can define religion for the people, especially in a situation where you have a minority religious group involved, against maybe the state, where the practice is considered maybe unorthodox by the state. Now, we've had instances, especially in the United States. There is this famous case of Church of Baba Anu against, that is, whose religious practice has to do with sacrifice, killing of chickens. And so a law was designed specifically to target that particular group. Now, if, for instance, you propose that a state determines what religion is, how do you control issues of religious gerrymandering against specific groups and other stuff like that? Thank you.
Professor Prison.
Thank you. My question is to Dr. Mdende. It is indeed a very difficult situation in South Africa where you have a Western legal system and you have African traditional legal systems and other kinds of legal systems. I know that the courts are taking African traditional religion more and more into account, and they say we must honor those traditions. But I don't think it's something that is going to happen overnight. But I want to ask Dr. Ndende, what do you see? What contribution can you make to a solution of this kind of problem?
Are there any other questions? Last question.
Yeah, my follow-up is on the consultation, not particularly to you, Dr. Ndende, but maybe elsewhere. When a case is before the courts of law involving customary law, are there some other experts in tradition law who are consulted? Generally, is there any some statistics which you can maybe point to?
Shall we?
Okay.
The ladies go first.
Thank you. I can just start with your question. If there are experts that are being consulted, there is you have heard, Prof, the case of Winnie Madikizela Mandela and the house in Kunu, that she is claiming that traditionally it belongs to her, and that case is in court now. It is in High Court. Now, what is happening? The lawyers now are consulting with people now regarding the customary law. If Mandela was right not to give Winnie that homestead, and I'm one of the people who are being consulted there, and King Dalindyebo is one of them, the king, because we are saying one thing, that no matter what Winnie did, that house belongs to the children of Winnie, irrespective of who built it, because Mandela got the site when he was still married to Winnie, and Winnie was there when the site was demarcated. He was there, and the local chief is saying is the witness to say, no, I was there and was there. So what made them to divorce in the West it's not a problem, but this site belongs to the wife who was married then. That is why in isiXhosa we are saying akakho umfazi ohlala emzini omnye umfazi. No woman lives in another woman's homestead, because if you divorce your wife, then you move out and you marry another one. That is the customary law of the Xhosa people. That one. So that is why I'm saying there are people who are consulted.
Can I just add to that, please, if I may?
Okay.
There's also the case of a lady versus the Kivitskroon estate. She started becoming a traditional healer, and her employees denied her the right to go to a traditional healer school.
Yes.
And then she just left them a note and said, but I'm taking leave, I'm going to attend the school. And when she came back, they fired her. And she went to the Arbeidshof, the Labour Court. And the court ruled in her, the court ruled in favor of her employers. And she appealed against that, and the High Court ruled in her favor, saying we must take the African traditional customary law, we must take that into account. She was compelled to go and attend that school of traditional
What year
healers.
was that?
That was in Pretoria.
Yeah.
I think it was last year or the year before
Year
last.
before,
Yeah, it's very
recent.
recently.
It's recent.
If
Yeah.
I can just add on to that, I know you want to go to lunch.
From Mpondobise, and now it's with us. It's with us, because the court says we have not consulted Professor Perez's books. And then when I looked at the Professor Perez's books, no, they don't hold any water. So otherwise the custom is like this. And now we're having public hearing. It's going to be announced soon, because we're using the customary law.
Can we answer
Okay,
the question?
now to briefly the contribution we are making, we are having meetings with the Council of Kings. We are meeting with the kings now addressing this. Even the very same king is because now he was anointed by other people. Very same king has even called the Minister of Education to say, in the province to say, let us talk about the assemblies in schools. So we are doing that. And is this a trend? It is not a trend. You can never be done to King Zwelithini to have all these people doing this. No, these were just taking a chance. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there were so many people, Prof. This phone rang until I switched off. There were so many people because I was there as a presenter of Mhlobo Enene, telling people what is happening. They were saying, Noxolo, what is happening now?
But you didn't answer my question.
Oh, yes.
What is the solution that the traditional leaders propose for this problem of a constitution and customary law, and how do you bring these two together?
That is why I was saying, Prof, now the kings, they are in the process of forming a king's council because the government can hear it better when it comes from them.
Okay, so you want to go through those official...
Yes, with those official.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for these questions. Let me start from the last one. In fact, I have not recommended that the state itself should define religion. Then that definition becomes frozen in time and would not be dynamic and could even be abusive. So if you heard me well, I said that these days, definitions that are thought to be universal across time, across history and cultures are discouraged. So I won't recommend that. Okay. Then the second question, have I attempted my own definition along these lines? Well, like many scholars in the study of religions, I talk about difficulties involved in defining religion, but I rarely make the attempt to offer my own definition. But when I have to write essays or do pieces of research here and there, I offer definitions in the light of the purpose for which I'm doing the research, a kind of a regulative definition. Okay, thank you. And then to what extent am I as an academic consulted on these matters? Prof. Hackett, probably not at all officially in Ghana. They would want to consult practitioners rather than academics. That's the unfortunate situation there. And then they always give a kind of a prejudiced advice to the authorities. The only time that we have been consulted in our department was when a new movement, the Raelian movement, appeared. And some authorities thought that certain aspects of their practices were immoral. And so they wanted to find out from the department whether they were a religion or not. When finally we said, well, it was a religious group to some extent. I mean, they went to practitioners who said that no, these people are not a religious group, blah, 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 blah. So that was the unfortunate thing.
What year was that?
I think it was 2003 thereabout. They came to Ghana and had a conference in the University of Ghana. And then reports went around the city very quickly that men and women were bathing together, that they were wearing some bands of different colors. And if you put on red, it means that you are hot and you are ready for sex. If you put on white, it means leave me in the meantime, blah, 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 blah. And so people were scandalized. And then I was summoned from a holiday somewhere to come back to the department to come and contribute to the discussion. Yeah, that was the only time.
Sorry, one thing, Sean. One thing, because, Prof, I'm not mandated to say that, but I feel I must say it. On the 1st of June, it will be a Monday. Ikamaku spirituality. We are coming to Joburg, to the commission, CRL commission, where we will be laying a complaint officially against the government on all these things that are happening to African traditional religion, like the chairperson will take it from there. But we have listed all our complaints now against the government because we feel the government is violating our rights. Therefore, we are complaining. So you will hear.
Who are you which office, which official? Are you
Because
dealing
there is that commission on the promotion and protection of the rights of cultural, religious, and linguistic communities. Then we are laying a charge there, and then she will take it from there and involve all these government
Right.
departments.
And do
that
you
will come.
do this with a press release? Will the media be
Definitely,
there?
there's a press release.
So I should look out for this.
You look out for the press release because that's why I'm saying. Now, what she's saying, we are going to complain on Monday, and then on Tuesday, she has invited all of them to come and respond.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Thank you.